Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a very special moment where we are going to announce the winner of the B1M and Nemetschek's Construction Story of the Year for 2023. Now, I'm not alone for this. I'm joined by Nemetschek's Senior VP of Strategy, Matt Wheelis. How you doing, Matt?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Excited for this moment. It's been a long time coming, right?
It has been. We've been preparing for months for this, and hope everyone has been following along as we've been moving through this journey.
Yeah, it's great. It was great to have you here with us. I know you're on the judging panel. So to be here with yourself representing Nemetschek is going to it's awesome. It's good to have you for this special moment. Now, for those of you watching who aren't aware of Construction Story of the Year, it's an awards program that's been put together by the B1M and Nemetschek to really lift up and shine a light on some of construction's most amazing stories. There really are some incredible things going on out there. And what we wanted to do was use the reach and influence of both the B1M and Nemetschek to lift up those stories, share them with the industry, and indeed with a wider audience to share best practice and also inspire more people to come into this fantastic industry. We opened entries back in July this year and we're overwhelmed with what we had coming in. There really is some great stuff going on out there, especially post-pandemic, which has been fantastic to see. We then got down to 12 entries for a long list, which we published. And then shortly after that, we announced the top 3 finalists on our shortlist. And for each of those finalists, we then created a dedicated video really showcasing their story. And we distributed that across our audience to try and get your feedback. We wanted your sentiment, your responses, your comments, so we could take all of that into account when the judges sat down and made the final decision to agree the winner of Construction Story of the Year for 2023, who we are going to announce in just a moment. The whole process has been supported by a fantastic expert judging panel, which you can see on screen now, which really gave us a huge depth of perspective and a fantastic range of views. So we can consider every element and consider our full criteria when we got to announcing that winner. Before we do that, before we get to announcing the winner of this year's Construction Story of the Year, Matt, I want to ask you, what was it like being involved this year? You were involved in the judging process from start to finish. What was your take on the process?
Well, overall, the process was really a learning journey for me. So I learned about some fantastic projects around the world and got to meet some really intriguing other people that were judges on the panel, and the perspectives that were brought, I thought really enriched. So from Hannah's clarity on message to Yowanda's engineering prowess, and then to Jackie's academic purity, keeping us on track and really looking at those judging criteria. I found the process to be, like I said, a learning journey.
Absolutely. It was hard getting down to that, just getting down to the long list of those 12 entries I found tricky, as you said, because you sort of go into it with a certain view of who you like and who you don't like, and sort of where you might rank the entries. And then you get those different perspectives in the judging session, and it kind of blows it wide open and makes you think about things you haven't thought about. So it was a good process. I think I'd agree with you. It was a learning process, and really fantastic to see the breadth of things that are happening across this industry. And I think that's actually reflected in the 3 finalists we've got. Each of them are things that are happening largely out of sight, out of mind. They're things that most people in the public eye most people in public life would take for granted. We have that sewer system, the fantastic Northwest Outfall project in Arizona, which you would kind of take for granted, but if it weren't working, you would certainly know about. Same with the restoration of the US Capitol. That is an incredibly important functional building. And then the Montagny base tunnel, which is going to absolutely transform travel and logistics across Europe. So huge projects, all of them going to have, as I said, a huge impact, but all that could be easily taken for granted if it weren't for awards programs like this. So that's good, isn't it?
It is. It is. I thought that the way we focused on some of those projects that are kind of, as you say, not the kind of thing you think about every day. When you get on a train and pass through a tunnel, you don't necessarily think about what it took to get into that. Certainly most people don't think about what happens when they flush the loo and where that goes. They just, as you say, get concerned about it if it doesn't work. And then also the process of working on a building like the US Capitol and dealing with the scaffold on that and doing it in such a way that respects the building and keeps the public safe and keeps the workers safe, I thought was, all 3 were worthy projects and each in their own way.
Absolutely. And I have to say, all 3 of them really speak, I think, to the best of the industry. The innovation, the attitude, the collaboration, the inspiring nature of the work they're all doing, the technology being deployed was fantastic to see across all three, which made it very hard for us to choose a winner, guys. But we did get there. We did have a final judges meeting. We deliberated at length, and then we agreed the winner of Construction Story of the Year for 2023, which I'm now very excited to announce goes to the TELT team building the Monsigny base tunnel. And I believe we have Manuela from the TELT team online now. So Manuela, thank you so much for joining us. What does it feel like to win the Construction Story of the Year?
We are very happy and very proud. It's an important feedback for us about the interest that Monsigny base tunnel generates. We thank the Commission and the B1M for having chosen us. You should know that the challenges of this project are many and varied and concern several topics like technical, environmental, and technological issues. For us, a fundamental part of our mission as TELT, as a public promoter, is also the dissemination of knowledge about the work. So the Lyon-Turin railway line is an integral part of the European Transport Plan, and your video shows it very well.
So for people watching who aren't aware of this project, what does it entail? Can you give us a bit of an overview?
The Lyon-Turin project is a freight and passenger new railway line. Is a fundamental section of the Mediterranean corridor. This corridor is one of the 9 axes of the European TEN-T transport network that is designed by Europe to develop efficient and sustainable connections. TELT, Tunnel Européen Lyon-Turin, is in charge of the construction of the cross-border section between Italy and France, and the main part of which is the base tunnel under the Monsigny. This tunnel is 7.5 kilometers long, is the longest railway tunnel in the world, and is actually under construction with 100% of tenders awarded for the civil works.
I was going to ask you, it feels like a silly question because you're digging a tunnel through a mountain, but aside from that bit, what are some of the biggest challenges your team has faced so far?
The biggest challenge we for sure are facing and overcoming challenge every day, but that is also why this project is amazing. From a construction point of view, we have to cross more than 14 different geological sectors, and we work at great deep depth. Over 2,000 meters underground. So, for example, in the past, we faced some geological problems. They caused us to be delayed in a carboniferous zone where the rock was closing up after excavation. So using innovative methods and with the help of the best experts, we found a solution, and today that section of the tunnel is completed.
How has technology helped with the planning and delivery of this project?
Certainly, technology is essential to carry out a project of this size. The latest generation of management software make it possible for us to have a complete control for all the construction sites, thousands of activities, people, despite the fact that TELT has only 200 employees. Through BIM, Building Information Modeling, for example, we are able to represent all dimensions, including sustainability. In addition, the machines and techniques used on construction sites are innovative and sure to deal with high temperature and help us to improve working conditions and safety.
Absolutely. I mean, this project is an incredible feat of engineering. It's incredibly inspiring that people can pull a project like this off. For young people watching who are maybe considering a career in construction, what would you say to them?
To young people who want to do this job, I would say to be brave, always have imagination and not to be afraid to move around and travel the world to learn from the best. The best remuneration is the gratification to being able to contribute in a concrete way to build a better world.
Very well said. What's just on a final question? What do you most enjoy about working on this project? What's the best thing about working on this project for you?
For me, the best thing is to know that we are working to build the future, to build the new generation world. And with our project, we have the opportunity to work with high-level partners, university research centers, and several topics. And for example, for environment, we have implemented solutions for the preservation of biodiversity and the circular economy. In particular, many years of studies and research will make it possible for us to maximize the reuse of excavated materials more than 50%. Obviously, this approach demanding the same commitment and vision from all the companies working for us.
Absolutely. Well, it's fantastic to have you joining us. Congratulations once again on this award. And we can't wait to follow this project in the years ahead. We can't wait to see this tunnel continue to be constructed and indeed the wider railway continue to be constructed. So thanks for joining us and congratulations to the whole TELT team.
Thank you.
So Matt, what was it for you that made the Montagny Base Tunnel really stand out as the winner of Construction Story of the Year?
Well, at Nemetschek Group, we talk about shaping the world in all dimensions. And I really think that this project epitomizes that notion of really shaping the world in all dimensions. It's the physical dimensions. It's also the sustainability dimensions and the dimension around the impact on people that it'll bring for generations to come that stood out to me. If you think about the way it's putting together the Trans-European transport network and providing a critical link there, the way it's taking out a very long route for goods and for people, the way it makes transportation of both goods and people more sustainable. So I understood we're taking 1 million trucks off the road eventually, which will burn petrol and move as they move across the mountains, and then also will be able to really make it much faster to move between France and Italy and remove passenger flights. And we all know the carbon impact of flying on an airplane. My family has always enjoyed playing the game Ticket to Ride, which involves, and we play the European version, which involves putting together a rail network around the world. And this is a link that I would certainly pay a great deal for to put together my network.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic project. And for me, it really, not only did it smash every single aspect of the criteria for this awards program, but for me, it really just does speak to the best of the industry. If you've been to the Alps, you will know just the sheer overwhelming scale of the mountains there, and the ambition and the ability of this industry to stand up and go, actually, you know what, the best way to do this, we're going to build a tunnel through the heart of a mountain for over 50 kilometers is astonishing. But then to actually pull it off and do it in a collaborative way. And this is not just collaboration between a project team and a supply chain. It's happening across 2 different nations on 2 different sides of an extreme mountain range. They're working together, they're collaborating together, they're deploying technology to build something that is on its own an incredible feat of engineering, but that will then go on to have a huge, huge impact economically, socially on the continent of Europe for decades, if not hundreds of years to come, is incredible. It speaks to the power of infrastructure, the power of construction, and the incredible people who make this industry run every day and build things that in years to come and decades to come we'll all take for granted. So yeah, amazing projects, amazing team, and I think it just stands out as the fantastic winner for this year's Construction Story of the Year.
It does. One of the things that stood out to me also as I researched the history of the project, going back, now, as you mentioned, the collaboration among the engineering teams, the collaboration with the construction teams, the collaboration between teams coming from 2 countries, the long-term political will that is required to get something like this done also is really stands out to me as a collaborative effort that has to keep moving. And it first was discussed, I think, 2002. It will be delivered in 2032. And that's really a feat to me to be able to keep that momentum moving and keep going there. And again, back to the teams designing, building, and then eventually operating this tunnel over the years. It really will, stand the test of time.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Well, I want to say a huge thank you for watching, guys, and a huge thank you to everyone that entered Construction Story of the Year this year. It's been fantastic to see so much great work going on across the industry, and you gave us a pretty hard job choosing the winner, but we have chosen the winner, the fantastic Montigny base tunnel. We're going to be sharing it across our platform over the next few weeks. Please do help us celebrate and share what is the Construction Story of the Year for 2023. As I said, the whole goal of this is to lift up the fantastic work that's happening in this industry and get it to a wider audience, not just within the industry, but further afield as well. The Montigny base tunnel is an incredible feat of engineering, and it's something that will undoubtedly inspire young people. There's small boys and girls right now who are considering a career in construction to come into this industry. So help us share it, and we'll see you soon.
Well, Fred, many thanks to you and the B1M for the Construction Story of the Year process, for being a part of that with us. And
yeah, no problem, Matt. I mean, it's fantastic. Thank you for helping. Thank you to Nemetschek for helping us bring this to life. You're an enormous company with several brands, many brands that reach out and touch all different parts of the world. And your software and technology is being used on projects all over the globe. So the perspective you bring, the reach you bring, the ability to help us lift up these stories and share them with a much wider audience is fantastic. And it would have been possible without Nemetschek Group. So thanks for your support. It's been great running this year.
Thank you.